Matthew, can you tell me a bit about your opinion, I suppose, or thoughts about this new review into renewable energy projects?
Well, the great thing about this region is we've got a renewable energy zone, and that's encouraging lots of private providers to come along and set up here. So, for example, we've got some solar farms, we've got the Mayoral wind farm, we've got more wind farms that are being proposed. If all those go ahead in this region, and there's no reason they won't, we'll end up providing from our local government area, and mainly around the Mayoral and Wellington area, will provide enough power for 1.35 million homes in this state. There's only about 3 million homes in this state, so you can see it's a large percentage of the power that will be provided by this area. One of the crucial things I believe for council and for this community is that not only do we feel good about ourselves providing lots of power and making a significant step forward in terms of climate change, but we should also receive some economic benefit from that particular process. Now, we get some economic benefit when the construction phase is in, where obviously having people employed building things, supplying products. So some of those are local, some of those are brought in from out of the community, but then they stay in our motels and eat at our restaurants and cafes. So there's an economic benefit there, but we really want to make sure there's an ongoing economic benefit for the region once the construction phase finishes. And the downside of the renewable energy from an economic benefit perspective is that we don't employ, or those providers don't employ a lot of people. So, for example, a solar farm is set up and it might need one or maybe two people on site just to make sure things are running along nicely. The same with the wind turbines. You might only employ one or two people there. So it's not injecting a lot into our economy. There are some processes in place where the providers of those have got to provide a community benefit fund. That's in relation to wind turbines, not in relation to solar farms. But that's where I think the state government could tighten some of those processes up and make sure that the community is gaining some economic benefit out of these processes, and probably more than we're gaining out of it now. We want to be there, we want to be providing power, we want to solve climate change on a worldwide basis, but we also think the areas that it's set up need some sort of economic benefit.
Yeah, well, that's a good point, I suppose. Dougal's other reason for conducting the review, I think, is trying to work out how to maximise diversifying income streams for farmers, because that would help, obviously, in times of disaster and whatnot, I dare say.
Well, the wonderful thing about, say, for example, wind turbines, and I've spoken to several farmers that have got wind turbines on their property, is it gives them an injection of funds off farm. So, for example, if you're effectively leasing out some of your land, so you take a 20 square metre block of dirt that has a wind turbine on it, you lose a little tiny bit of your farming land, but you're getting some off-farm income essentially every year. So that gives you that nice income stream. So wind turbines seem to be better from that perspective, in that the farmer gets an injection of money, and the wind turbines is where it's compulsory for a community benefit fund of some percentage, some small amount to go back into the community. Solar farms, one of the issues there is you're often taking prime agricultural land and then it's not being used for agriculture, it's being used for the solar farm, and the farmer typically sells their block of land, which is great for one farmer, but typically there's not an ongoing benefit for solar farms. So I still think it takes a mix of solar and wind, but at the moment wind seems to be better for the community. And again, that farmer will keep farming his property because he's only losing that small amount of land for the wind turbine to sit on. So there's different benefits there. There's, I suppose, a range of different ways to solve the problem. Then we've also got batteries. Batteries will take up a small part of someone's land as well. Ongoing benefit for that farmer. They may be leasing that out, for example, but is there a community benefit fund? How much is that? What injection is going back into the local economy?